The story so far, written September the 22nd, 1982, and the chaos of the day of action is widely blamed on the behavior of a tiny, uncaring minority, Norman Fowler's active brain cells. The CBI condemns the strikers and points out that the amount of money lost to the country on Wednesday was so great it could have paid for the entire tail section of a Trident missile. Mr. Tate rejoices that 90% of the workforce ignored the strike call and attacks the strikers for showing the world that 90% of British workers are work-shy militants. The NHS waiting list grows to 115,000, but there's a bright side. All of them donate £1, and the man at the front of the queue is able to have his hernia treated privately. Cecil Parkinson accuses striking school teachers of permanently damaging the future of their pupils. It is feared the intellectual development of some children will be so badly affected that they'll grow up to vote Conservative. Mr. Tate claims the strikers have permanently tarnished Britain's reputation abroad by provoking him into making speeches which show what idiots we elect to govern us. If the TUC calls for similar action later in the year, will there be anyone left in a job to go on strike? Will the men in white coats coming to take Mr. Tate away remember to keep on their crucifixes at all times? Find out in the next exciting installment of For a Few Dollars More, starring Norman Fowler as the man with no shame.
Week ending September the 24th. A look back at the last 7 days with David Jason, David Tate, Tracey Ullman and Nicky Henson.
So, fellow robot son, that was the infamous Mrs. Thatcher. Indeed. Do you think she was impressed with mechanized Japanese robot workforce? Evidently so. Why else would she leave husband here in car factory and take robot 357 with her back to hotel? Ah, now I understand why they call her Iron Lady. Ah, so.
Hello, Menachem Begin here. I'd like first to utterly condemn last week's careless and wicked outrage. Such speeches attacking Israel's good name should have no place in the United Nations agenda. Members of my government are particularly sensitive to criticism. That is why over the next few days you will hear of many resignations. People resigning themselves to the fact that there will be no inquiry. Nor are sackings out of the question. I'm used to sacking, mainly towns on the West Bank. Our boys did nothing wrong at all. How could they drive tanks or fire guns when all the time they had their fingers in their ears? Look, Lebanon belongs to the Lebanese. The Christian militia are Lebanese, so they are free to act in Lebanon as they see fit. Once General Sharon had taken the decision to allow militiamen into the Palestinian camps, once they had driven their jeeps out of our transport planes, through our roadblocks, past our observation posts, and through the gates, they were acting entirely on their own initiative. We had no right to interfere. It's their country, not ours. And after all, self-determination is what it's all about, isn't it?
Record Breaker! Oh, and welcome to another edition of Record Breakers! And this week we've got yet another outstanding record which will definitely make your mind reel. This month, September 1982, 56-year-old Margaret Thatcher from Grantham has managed to achieve an amazing jobless total of 3,343,075 unemployed people. She's a record breaker! Oh, that's some figure, isn't it, hey? Oh, well, we've actually got Maggie here in the studio.
Hello.
Hello. Tell us, Maggie, how do you become a record breaker?
You know, you must be prepared to put up with a punishing regime.
Such as the Tory government?
Exactly. And of course, there's the weight training.
Weight training?
Yes, waiting for a job.
Oh, fantastic. But I believe you had a rival in the unemployment stakes.
Oh, you mean Stanley Baldwin? Yes, he went for the big 3 million in 1933, but he's not really in my league.
Well, you've broken all the unemployment records, Maggie. What are you going to break next?
The economy.
Yes, she's a record breaker! And that's the cue for a song, folks. The cue for jobs is that way. Record breaker!
Hey, Effendi, good news.
What? The Israelis are withdrawing from Beirut.
No, but the United Nations have passed a resolution regarding the protection of all of us Palestinian refugees still living in Lebanon.
Oh, praise to Allah. What does it say?
They're sending a peacekeeping force to Lebanon.
Oh, wonderful. Haven't I heard that before?
Looking to get away from it all? For good? Then why not pay a visit to St. George, Utah for their holiday of a half-life? A town with a rich history of atomic bomb tests and unique cloud formations. A town steeped in tradition and radioactive dust.
Hearty Keep Fit fanatics will just love the hike across the desert when the bus driver enacts the local custom of turning tail and kicking you out at least 30 miles from St. George, Utah.
You'll tramp tingling into town, dazzled by the glow of the sunset, a sight like nothing on Earth, except the glow of the sky after sunset over St. George, Utah.
There's plenty to do here. Join the locals for a game of Hunt the Evidence, where you have to find evidence of cancer and leukemia deaths which the authorities have hidden away. Yes, a community with a sense of belonging in hospital. But don't let the incessant rattle of Geiger counters deter you from St. George, Utah.
Because, as any government lawyer will tell you, there's really no danger from radiation. That is, if you can make out what he's saying from inside his fallout suit.
You're all over tan, which you can actually get without taking your clothes off. Will make your friends at home green with envy, and you green with radiation sickness.
Yes, a visit to St. George, Utah will certainly be an experience you'll remember for the rest of your life, which will probably be about 2 weeks.
Hey, Effendi, I just thought about that United Nations resolution. It really does give us protection, you know.
Oh, how?
Well, look, help me with this. Look.
Yes.
With all these paragraphs and amendments, if we unfold it, we could hide the entire refugee camp underneath.
Oh, good idea.
Yes.
Here we go.
Good.
From the people who brought you The Prince and the Shy Girl, Palace in Wonderland, and Singing in the Rain, now comes Charles and Di the movie, or The Merry Wife of Windsor. Yes, ABC, CBS, and other bits of the alphabet present the all-singing, all-dancing, all-waving at people from open-top cars story of unrequited wealth. A tale of two lovebirds who are thrown together, then head for the throne together. Thrill at their romantic first meeting.
Excuse me, are you the Prince of Wales?
Yes. Would you like to marry me?
Gasp as he introduces her to the family.
This is one's mother.
Ah, our gracious queen.
That sounds like the cue for an anthem.
Swoon as she bravely abandons everything for love.
You realize, May Sweet, that marrying me, you'll have to give up your job, your friends, your whole way of life.
Yes, but at least I can still tap dance.
And hear the hit song from the film performed by His Royal Highness. Charles and Di the movie, also starring Stuart Granger as the Duke, Archie Andrews as Mark Phillips, and Clint Eastwood as Princess Anne. Charles and Di the movie, a double B certificate now showing at the Palace.
Effendi, good news and bad news.
The good news?
The Israelis are withdrawing from Beirut.
The bad news?
They'll be coming through here on their way home.
Over now to Brisbane and news of our athletes in the Commonwealth Games.
Well, these are the ones they call the friendly games. And with no locks on the bathroom doors, friendliness is pretty much a necessity. The first event of the day is the race round the hostel to find a usable sink. Luckily, their economies haven't hit the track events quite so hard, though there was a slight dispute over the official starting blocks when sprinters in the outside lane complained they couldn't hear the starter bang them together. And bad news for our steeplechase hopes, alas, when both the British entrants fell at the sheep dip. Tomorrow's the big day for our girl high jumpers, as it's their turn to hold the rope.
So, David, what are our hopes for bringing back a medal?
Oh, still very good, David, providing the chocolate doesn't melt.
Hello. For this week's Life on Earth, I'm in the undergrowth of Whitehall, searching for that strange beast, the Parkinson tebbit fowler. The Parkinson tebbit fowler, or to give it its Latin name, the Nauseous Thatcherus sycophanticus, is a thick-skinned, poisonous creature, three-headed, but strangely enough, faceless. Let's see if we can find it, shall we? Yes, there it is. There. Blue in colour, grey in mentality, this extremely unpleasant creature is trying to pose as a human being by using its camouflage mechanism, Saatchi and Saatchi. And if you look closely, you can see the predatory fowler head tucking into its favourite meal, health workers. It devours them slowly, having first weakened them through starvation. The tebbit head, or the even fowler head, is attacking some trade unionists with its savage bill, while the Parkinson head is happy to swallow anything that Margaret Thatcher feeds it. And, it's picked up my scent, but hasn't spotted me, thank goodness, because its narrowness of vision means it can't see further than the next profit margin.
Thatcher out! Thatcher out!
No. This could prove interesting. It's being attacked by its natural enemy, the British population. Note its various defence mechanisms. The tebbit tries to distract its foes with empty gestures like the Youth Opportunities Scheme.
On your bike, on your bike,
Whereas
on
the
your bike.
fowler squirms in a vain attempt to appear flexible and emits his familiar instinctive whine.
Money all gone, money all gone.
But watch the Parkinson. He's in his natural habitat in front of a camera, and there he is, sitting back, dribbling venom and slime.
Smom, 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 smom.
Oh, dear. While I was wiping the slime from my eyes just then, the creature disappeared. But not to worry, its tracks are easy to follow, leaving as it does a trail of jobless people and derelict hospitals behind. But what is the origin of this animal? Experts believe it's an evolutionary throwback to the primitive age of the survival of the richest. Anyway, we know how it lives. The mystery is how it can live with itself. Ugh.
My lord, members of the jury, you see before you the accused, who has been party to the most flagrant case of extortion in legal history. This pitiful, broken-down body, calling itself the welfare state, freely admits to taking vast sums of money, hard-earned by the decent working people of this country, and offloading it onto the old, the sick, and the unemployed. What is more, this so-called welfare state, by the insidious use of grants and subsidies, has been taking the flower of Britain's youth and willfully educating it. Not content with that, it is also guilty of drug trafficking on a nationwide scale, the work of those sordid operators, GPs. Furthermore, I put it to you that the defendant is solely responsible for the wanton destruction of class barriers and the pernicious spread of equal opportunities. Can any right-thinking jury fail to return a verdict of guilty and a recommendation of the maximum sentence permitted for such a heinous offense, that it be publicly flogged to the private sector?
Are you tired of treading the same old transept?
Is life on the dole corrupting your soul?
Then make a pilgrimage to the Church Job Bureau. We've all the best appointments.
And anointments. Yes, at Church Jobs, we turn everyday tedium into everyday tedium.
Just mosey along to our holy office for a job with a stigma attached. Speak to our Chief Inquisitor, Sister Bernadette.
Or Hail Mary, and ask about work where you can exorcise the old grey martyr.
And at Church Jobs, we teach you to know your rights.
And perform them.
We have influence in high places.
And a finger in every piety.
We believe in better wages. Just ask us how much you can earn.
And you'll get a whole sermon on the amount.
Just have faith in us and swap your UB40 for a Psalm 23.
Yes, with Church Jobs, you can join the nave
and see the next world.
Hello, dear.
Why doesn't this doorbell work?
Had a nice day at the office?
Nice day, nice day. People seem to think that working for the National Consumer Council is a simple matter of taking up other people's complaints.
I don't.
Because it isn't.
Who's complaining?
No one, that's just the trouble. Haven't had a decent complaint since the Great Korean Book Match Holocaust of 1954.
Cup of tea, dear.
Oh, it's disgusting.
Biscuit?
Look, they're all broken.
Is
it's a long time till supper.
Well, that's no good. I want it now. And why hasn't that cat been put down?
Because the vet won't do it.
Oh, that's typical. That's typical, that is. Oh, nice idea of service, some people.
He says you can't kill an animal just for sitting in somebody's favourite armchair.
Well, it's not my favourite anymore. It's a bloody death trap, failing to meet British Standard 593.
Brian, do you have to bring your work home with you every night?
Well, somebody has to complain, dear. Otherwise we get nothing but high prices, poor workmanship, and lousy service.
That's just what I think, Brian. So when you finish that tea, there's a whole bathroom upstairs that needs decorating.
What?
Yes, then when you've done that, there's the doorbell to fix.
What do
then
you
you
mean
can unblock the sink, lay the new carpet.
And now Weekending presents Diary of a Liberal Delegate.
Tuesday, and I'm having a lovely time at our Liberal Party Assembly in Bournemouth this week. Yes, we Liberals are certainly going places, usually out to the conference hall, into the bar, and back into the hall again. Wednesday, David challenged us all to act now, so Phyllis Bottomley and I performed a little scene from Blithe Spirit for him on the balcony. David was also very sympathetic about the plight of rural communities, particularly when I told him some of the fences around our estate were so rotten you couldn't sit on them. Thursday, Cyril Smith pleaded with us not to sit back and let the health service be demolished. So we all stood up. Then Bill Pitt told us we shouldn't stand for prison overcrowding either. So we all sat down again. Friday, one small quibble. I'm not too sure about David's electoral ties with the SDP, but I do like his navy blue ones with the white spots. And it was a wonderful moment when we all rose like one huge body. Cyril Smith rose like another, to cheer our leader as he told us to go back to your constituencies and prepare for election. You've nothing to lose but your deposits.
Right. Now, before we begin assembly, I'd like to say a few words about the school breakfast, which we've recently introduced here at Latchkey Comprehensive. To begin with, breakfast is getting far too noisy. Oh, yes, it is. So, I've decided to impose a total ban on Rice Krispies. And anyone else who complains about the bacon will get 50 rashers. Or 3 strokes of the kipper.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who threw that? If it happens again, I'm confiscating all the toasters. Yes, I know the guilty ones. So you can wipe that smile off your face, hog miner, and all that scrambled egg. So, when you finish your orange juice, we'll sing hymn number 593, Onward, Marmite Soldiers.
Onward, Marmite Soldiers.
Excuse me, sir. Can I have a quick word with you?
Yes?
I'm Barker, sir. I used to be captain of HMS Endurance.
Oh, yes, you're the chap who's been talking to the press.
Yes, I hope I didn't embarrass you, sir.
Not a bit of it, Barker. The fact that your predictions of an Argentine invasion were proved right are neither here nor there.
Even though you were wrong in Whitehall?
Absolutely. So how's the new post we've given you?
Well, I think I may have got the wrong papers.
No, it's quite simple, Barker. It's soft for the officers, hard for the ratings.
No, you don't understand, sir. I think I'm in the wrong job.
Not good enough for you, Barker?
No, sir. I just don't think it's one for which I'm particularly well equipped.
Good grief, man. Haven't they given you a brush?
Yes, but it's not really what I'm used to.
Fair enough, Barker. We'll get you one with a wooden handle.
Yeah, but I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing.
Oh, just think of it as a mopping up operation.
I see.
And I'm sure we can rely on you to keep things up to scratch.
Well, I'm not too sure about that, sir.
Why not?
Well, I don't want to damage the tiles.
Well, all right. We'll see what we can do about finding you something a bit more challenging.
Oh, thank you. I'd really like to be in a position where people are going to look up to me, sir.
No, that's all right, Barker. We'll give you the green light.
Oh, thank you, sir.
And your colleague on the other side of the crow's nest will be holding the red one.
Oh, sir, but when you said you were going to give me the green light, I didn't think you meant the green...
And now it's time to break through the picket lines and enter 39 Mafeking Terrace, home of Monty and Vera Patriot, in another episode of The Patriots, an everyday story of mother country folk.
Wake up, Vera, wake up. There goes the alarm clock.
Oh, Sir Winston, I really shouldn't.
Vera, it's 6 o'clock. Time to get up.
Oh, the other land girls will wonder where I am.
Vera.
What? Ow, it's you, Monty.
Yeah, of course it's me.
What are you doing in my bedroom?
Well, have you forgotten what day it is?
Oh, surely it's not time for
you know again?
No, of course not. It's only September. No, it's D-Day.
D-Day?
The day of disgrace.
Oh, you mean the day of action?
Day of inaction, more like.
Oh, Monty.
Yeah, I got that from the Daily Express. Yeah. But enough hilarity. There's work to be done. Up, see, Daisy?
Right.
Oh, I'm glad to see you're already dressed for the job.
Do you like it?
Yeah. The nurse's frock goes very well with your miner's helmet. But what's that lump under the bedclothes?
My pig pony.
Oh, good God, Vera. Well, I've heard of being prepared, but this is a bit much. Well, anyway, I've made some placards.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, get back to work, scum. Whoa, that should put the wind up the skivers. What's that noise?
Wait till you see this.
Jingo!
I've attached a little doggy cart to him so he can answer 999 calls.
Is it strong enough?
Yeah, of course it is. Watch this.
Oh, Monty!
Dear. Well, let's hope the vets aren't on strike. Oh, there's the door.
Hello, Mum. Hello, Dad.
Hello, Horatio.
Where you been?
Down the hospital, training the nurses to their patients.
Good lad.
Let's hope this day of action makes Mr. Fowler see sense and pay them even less.
Here. Now, time for a little bayonet practice before breakfast, I think.
Oh, no, I've got to go out again.
What for?
Well, I'm going to lead the day of action marches.
Jingo! Emasculate the Marxists! Emasculate them!
No, I'm going to lead them off Waterloo Bridge.
Oh, Horatio.
That's my boy.
And now here is next week's news. The weekend. Thomas Cook launched their new range of rough, tough adventure holidays for tourists looking for a physically arduous time and call it a fortnight in Benidorm. Bobby Robson begins outlining his reasons for England's failure to qualify for the 1986 World Cup.
Monday, Ken Dodd, who said in a television interview that he would like to appear in every theatre in Britain eventually, is offered a job as official receiver. Chinese authorities reveal that they invited Mrs. Thatcher into their country in order to prove to the skeptical that dragons really do still exist.
Tuesday. Following his remarks that the most important role for a woman to play is that of a mother, Prince Charles divorces the Princess of Wales and marries his son's nanny. The Australian sports authorities say they deliberately gave the Scottish Commonwealth Games team accommodation where they had to share 4 to a room and use an outside toilet in an effort to make them feel at home.
Wednesday, following the revelation that the house where Mary Whitehouse was born has been converted into a sex shop, it's also discovered that Ian Paisley's birthplace has been turned into a Trappist monastery.
Thursday. After Margaret Thatcher falls down some steps in China, authorities there report that she is unhurt, but it may take some time to repair the stonework. The publishers of the Beano admit that there may be some truth in accusations of the comic being sexist and racist, and announce that in future, Dennis the Menace will be replaced by Dennis the victim of his environment.
Friday, GLC leader Ken Livingstone is granted a divorce from his wife, but is refused custody of the newts. In America, where a teenage drug addict kept burying himself in the back garden because he thought he was a mole, his mother says she would have stopped him, but he was so good for the soil. And that is the end of next week's news.
Weekending featured David Jason, David Tate, Tracey Ullman and Nicky Henson. The script was by James Hendry, John Revel, Andrea Solomons, Ian Brown, Roy Apps and John Langdon, with newslines by Peter Hickey, Nick Yap, Dave Dixon, Max Orcock, Ray Binns and the Marmite Soldiers. The producer was Jan Ravens.